20s and kids, my screens lit, watching beach party flick. Two boppers taking turns on my man, 10,000 on my wrist, I'm the boss. Told me to take my chain off and let my body defrost. What's the motherfucking deal, SauceNation? I know you know what that is. I just had to get warmed up, get hyped up before we get this thing going. You know, it's a terrific Tuesday to talk Texans, but this is SauceNation. And I'm your boy, Ed Honcho. You can catch me at The Real Ed Honcho on Instagram and Twitter, or you can catch me, if you want those Houston-only sports takes, at Sauce Sports HTX on Twitter. But, man, this is a Sauce Sports special. If you don't know what Sauce Sports is, man, look, let me give you some games. Sauce Sports is a Houston homer channel, okay? So, I mean, we only talking HTOWN teams, so we talking Texans, we talking Rockets, we talking Astros, we talking about the Dynamo. We talking about the Dash. We get all that figured out. Like I say, we still working on the baseball and soccer thing, but we coming up on that. But collegiate, professional, amateur, high school, whatever it may be, if it's H-Town related, we're going to put some sauce on it. You know what I'm saying? We put the flavor on H-Town sports. That's what Sauce Sports is. Okay? So I hope y'all having a terrific Tuesday. All right? A terrific Tuesday to talk Texans. Every day is a great day to talk Texans. But today, I have to come out and I have to admit, you know, I'm not ashamed. I'm never ashamed to admit when I'm wrong. And I want to talk about a guy that I wasn't high on initially when we picked him this year, a rookie. And we're going to talk about a couple other guys, but we're going to talk about some running backs today. Okay? We're going to talk about the situation the Texans are currently facing at the running back position. Now, it's a good problem to have. You have Lamar Miller, you have Foreman. A couple of things about these guys are similar, a couple of differences that I was just noticing, and how I think this thing's gonna end up playing out, you know, when the season starts, and then how it's gonna end up before the season's over with. And, you know, we can't forget about your boy Blue, Alfred Blue. You know, we've been discrediting him and counting him out. You know, he's still in the mix. You know, it's a contract year for him. Okay, yeah, y'all know I'm clowning. Okay, you know, I love Blue. I think Blue's a great person, all that other good stuff. You know, like I said before, I love yelling Blue just as much as everybody else, but in reality, it wasn't going down like that much, and I don't think Alfred Blue's going to be participating in this year's starting running back competition. And I'm not saying that there's a competition. I think Lamar Miller's going to be your guy. You know, you paid him to come in here and do that, but you know, let's take a look at both of them and see what they can contribute, some pros and cons, and you know, we still got a couple other guys that in Hunt, I believe we still got Grimes there, so you know, there's some other guys there, some added depth. But let's get right into it, man. Let's talk about Foreman. Okay. So like I said, I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong, and I was not high on the pick. You know, I was thinking around that position that we needed to get a lineman. I wasn't really super familiar with Foreman. And so I just kind of wasn't really with what was going on. You know, so I was kind of mad on it. You know, somebody was like, watch some film on him. Well, I watched a little bit. I was like, it was cool. I just wasn't really he had some big runs, but I was just like, hey, I don't know, you know. So I continued to study. Somebody said, you need to watch more film. You need to keep paying attention to this guy. I think you're missing something. I said, who the hell you think you are telling me I'm missing something? So I started watching more film. Yeah, I did. Anyway, so, you know, I kept paying attention. Like I said, you know, just trying to keep up with some other things and everything else that was going on. So when I had time, I just kept, you know, watching a little bit more about Foreman and kind of checking out his background and his story and his things like that. And the more I watch, the more I learn about the guy, you know, the more I like. A big guy, you know, I've seen 6'1", 250, and I've seen 6 foot, 233. Seen a variety of numbers, but you know how it is. Usually with the NFL, they'll try to add an inch or two to you, you know. But either way, you know, he's a sizable guy. That's a couple of inches on Lamar Miller, and still a couple of pounds. Now, it's a significant difference because we're talking about what, 17 pounds, you know, depending on what size, you know, how big he really is. 17 pounds is a significant difference because, like I say, if you got 17 pounds, and he's running a sub 4.5. He's running what, a 4.41? I think he ran a 4.45, something like that. Then you're moving that kind of weight at that kind of speed, you could do a little something, and then you also have the ability to break away. So I had to really start paying attention. I said, okay, maybe this guy does bring a different skill set to the table than Lamar. Lamar was overworked last year. Okay, they overused him. They had this plan, I guess. I don't know exactly what that plan was. I don't think they intended to run the ball maybe as much as they had to last year. I don't know what it was. I don't think they intended for Lamar to end up being that type of back. Or maybe they did. Maybe they thought he could. But he has some durability issues that we have to look at too. But just jumping into Foreman's background a little bit, it's something I noticed that was similar between him and Miller that I thought was pretty cool. So Foreman comes out of Texas City, Texas. Shout out to Texas City. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to the whole HTOWN, wherever you're at. Shout out to, we got some SauceNation up in Oregon, some in Washington, some Sauce in Florida. So shout out to everybody in SauceNation, wherever you may be. But shout out to Texas City. I got some people out there. And end up going to Texas, and now he plays for the Texans. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, I just found that interesting. Texas City, Texas, of course. Then you go to Texas, play for the Texans. That's a very interesting. He's definitely homegrown Texan talent. So I want to see him succeed. I want to see him do very well. He kept it at the house. He kept it home for the most part. Only way it could have been better is if he, I don't know, maybe went to I guess you don't have a Houston, maybe a Sam Houston or something like that. Then went to play for the Cougs, then play for Texas. That's the only way it could have been better. But anyway, all the BS out the side. Lamar Miller also, he was from Miami. Went to Miami. Was originally drafted by Miami. So I thought that's also very interesting. Both those got that. But, he got guys about the same speed. But like I say, with Foreman bringing size, weight, that's a big difference. Because if you got a guy who can run somebody over and get away, he can do the best of both. Miller, before when he was with the Dolphins, I saw a lot of the hype. I saw why people were very high and very excited about him. But I didn't see that same guy running for us last year. I didn't see that. I don't know. It seemed like that workload might have got to him. I know later on in the year, he was taping a couple of things. I forgot what game that was where he injured his shoulder. He tried to come back and he really couldn't do anything because he's not really a guy that can take those big hits. When you bring Foreman in, now that gives you that option. But what you got is you have a guy who kind of knows the system already. I'm not sure how well Foreman is, when it comes to blocking, how good he is. But, I mean, he's a sizable guy, so I'm sure they'll get him ready and get him right for that. And you have a bigger body in there. And like I say, he's a quick guy, so I'm sure he can move around and, get where he needs to be. And I'm still, probably not afraid of taking that kind of contact. So I see Miller starting us off in the season, but for some reason, I don't know what it is. Like I say, I've bought stock in it, and I'm buying at a high price. So I kind of see Foreman taking over before the end of the year. I think he might end up being a special guy. Might be a special kid. But like I say, I am about rookies. I like to let them get as much time as they can. But he's going to start. Not going to start, but he's going to play. He's going to definitely see the field before Watson will see the field. That's guaranteed. But I think he'll start to perform once he kind of gets a feel for it. That NFL speed. Once he kind of understands, and he gets more comfortable in that. But then like you can't count out. A couple other guys, the names that have been mentioned, like I say, just to jump out of it, because everybody's talking about Foreman and Miller. We can't forget about Irvin. I've been hearing a lot of good things about Irvin coming out from all over the place, saying he's looking like a completely different player, looking like a different guy. So, Irvin might find a way to work himself in the conversation and get a few touches. But the thing about him is Irvin could definitely be an X-factor type guy, more so than just your prototypical running back. I think they're going to try to do some things with him, maybe kind of move him around in different places. I think with him last year was I don't know, he just seemed like he was a little nervous. Sometimes like it was a little out of place. Because, you know, the guy's talented. He's got speed. You know, it just seemed like, I don't know, maybe sometimes it was a little too much for him all at once. I don't know, because he just seemed like he never really got off. But like I say, you know, a lot of accounts are saying that, hey, he's looking like a different guy. And so, you know, he may be taking some touches out the mix. So, like I say, we're in a good situation. Other than Blue, all the way down the depth chart, we got guys who have some significant speed, who have some agility, who can move. I just think, like I say, it's going to definitely be Miller starting off the year. He's going to get the majority of the touch, but I don't know if it's going to be through, you know, injury or what. But I just see eventually, I see Foreman taking the lead role and and getting the majority of touches before the season's over. I mean, like, I think overall Miller have more touches on the season, but I see Foreman taking being the starting running back before the season is over with. But with that being said, what do you guys think? I know a lot of people are super high on Foreman. Like I say, I got on the train late, and I'll admit that. Like I say, because you can go back and find the videos where I definitely say like I wasn't necessarily just against it, but I was just kind of, I wasn't really. It took me a while to get comfortable with the pick, and you know, like I say, you know, not the pick now, but with the guy, but the guy as itself, it was a value. You know, you kind of had to make that move, and you take that because, like I say, you don't know what you're getting out of Lamar Miller for a full season. He missed a couple of games, was injured in a couple of games, hurt. You know, so Blue is definitely not the guy. Blue is not really even to me, he's just not really even a good number two. You know, he's had a couple of good games. You know, he's one of those churn it out guys. But you know, people say, well, he's one of those guys that get better as the game goes on. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Like, I think he stays consistent, and it's just, you know, a great special teams player. I think he's a great, and you know, if you keep him around for special teams, something like that, he's a great special teams player. He's made some plays, but you know, as a running back, man, he's a little slow for a running back. I forgot what he ran. It was something like a 4.7, 4.8, something like that. I mean, you know, like I said, I want the guy to do well. I want to maybe, you know, find a spot for him, but I just, at the running back position, I think we have too much talent in-house now to not, you know, he's definitely not, you know, on the depth chart currently he's number 2, but he's not going to end the season up. He's not going to go into the season as the number 2 running back, you know. So we'll see what happens with that. But like I say, SauceNation, I want to know your opinion. Who do you think is going to get it? You think Foreman is going to be the guy? Do you think he's going to be very impressive, you know, during this offseason as we go into the season and end up being the man? Do you guys think Lamar Miller has? I know a lot of people were down on Miller and, you know, this, that, and other. But another thing you have to expect, too, is nobody respected Brock's arm. So, you know, it made life tough on Miller. It made it a little bit harder than you would expect. So, you know, if you had a guy out back there, you know, okay, well, this guy can actually make a pass. We may need to, you know, respect this guy a little bit. And, you know, they didn't. They just, they would let Brock do whatever. They would let Brock have whatever he could have because they knew it wasn't going to be anything much. And they could live with that, you know, and you just stopped the run. So, I mean, Miller did all right to me. I think he did okay, you know. 1,000-yard season. Can't complain about that. Anyway, SauceNation, like I said, I want to know your opinion because this is a commentary. Like I say, I'm a fan talking to the fans. And yes, you're probably wondering, yes, everything is under control. But like I say, I'm a fan talking to the fans of SauceNation. I say, I just want to thank you every time, as always. Like I say, steadily growing. I just appreciate it, you know. Still working on the site, getting some things up, but soon, like I say, soon, SauceNation, Sauce Sports will be the spot, the premier spot for Houston sports and Houston sports fans. I'm telling you, just stay tuned, just watch. That is the goal, that is the mission. But other than that, SauceNation, hey, man, y'all be cool. Y'all have a great day, and I appreciate you watching because time is very valuable. I appreciate you spending your time with me. SauceNation, y'all be cool.